There is something new in the psyche of America, something that is actually pretty different from when I grew up, and that is how susceptible we have grown to fear. Now, I'm not suggesting that anyone run out and test God. All of us need to follow the laws of our local, state, and federal governments. But what I'm most concerned with, and I think what God is ultimately concerned with, is what's going on in our hearts. If we're terrified of dying from a virus and we find that we can't function normally and are consumed with anxiety, and we also claim to be a Christian or a believer, we may need to do a heart check. A great time to see how real our personal faith is when we are confronted with mortality. The difference between a true believer and a non-believer in this particular arena should be obvious. If we have hope and we know there is a place for us, then why are we fearful? If we know that God has gone ahead and made a home for us like He promised, then why should we fear? The Bible says in John 14:1-3, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." Jesus is referring to Himself here. "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." So America and the world right now finds itself in basically one of two camps. You either believe that there is a sovereign God, creator of everything, or you just don't. The problem with the don't camp is they have no answer for death. So people in that don't camp, when confronted by death, find themselves bankrupt of ideas. So it becomes exceedingly easy to sell them on surrender for the sake of saving their lives. Well, when saving lives becomes the single most important thing, then anyone that's willing to take life or sacrifice life becomes incredibly powerful in that world. You see, if you're in a world where no one is actually willing to risk their lives to stop evil, well, then evil thrives. You see, when tyranny is not confronted and violent and evil men are able to pull the levers of power, all forms of evil becomes manifest. We cannot let fear rule us, whether it be a virus or real tyranny. Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said, "So, first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." And a much higher authority said in 1 John 4:16-18, "And so we know and rely on the love God is for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear." Because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Whether it be this pandemic or the next one, or war, or tyranny, or evil, it is our duty to confront and stand up, to reject fear, and to stand in love. Because as believers, we know where we're going to end up. We don't know how long we're going to live, but we do know that every man and woman that has been born will face death. And in the history of the world, only one man has ever conquered death, and that is Jesus Christ Himself. So in Him, let's go forward without fear. Until next time.